What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com, Delarroz. I love to talk about culture and comics and sci-fi and things like that. That's sort of my jam. I also write a bunch of comics and sci-fi. And if you sign up for my newsletter, which you can get at the description below, you can get a bunch of free books from me and check those out. So I hope you will do that. We are getting into Supergirl, and if you've watched the channel for a while, you know that I have been going through basically all of Supergirl, dating back to the 70s. So very fun stuff, pre-Crisis, and then all of the subsequent iterations since then. This is the last trade paperback that exists of collected editions before the new 52 starts. So they did a reset of the entire DC universe, and this contains Supergirl 53 through 59 and annual number 2. Now, there is a set of 5 books of this series before this, which are like deluxe editions, they call them. And it goes up to issue 50, but they actually skip 51 and 52, which are in an event called The Last Stand of New Krypton, and volumes 4 and 5 really cross over with that whole New Krypton Superman storyline, which I did not read before reading those, and it made it really tough to get through the book, I'm not going to lie. But now Supergirl has her own stuff going on, finally. So this is a character who was set up during that event, and it's Lois Lane's sister, and she calls herself Superwoman, and I guess they destroyed the new Krypton or whatever, and this is the fallout from that, and bad stuff happens. So in this, a Bizarro Supergirl comes to Earth, and she causes trouble. We got Jamal Igle on art, who, you know, he's all right. He's a pretty detailed guy. He does a thing which I talk about in pretty much all the reviews here, which he makes all the characters have very weird-looking faces. And I noticed over the progress of this series that Supergirl's hair is getting shorter, and I don't know why, but it is. So, you know, hopefully it doesn't go full Captain Marvel by the end of this, because it just doesn't look good. But what can you do? And so Jamal Igle does a thing a lot where he just kind of makes weird, wonky looking faces a lot, where everybody kind of looks just funky and has funky expressions. And so I'm not a huge fan of that all the time. Get a nice Bizarrogirl, Supergirl fight here. And this is actually a really good storyline. This is probably the best Supergirl storyline I've read since the inception of this series in 2005. So of this whole volume of Supergirl, this is the best. You know, I was a little skeptical because I'm like, Bizarrogirl, that's just a copy of Bizarro, and that's kind of boring. And so it ends up Supergirl goes to this Bizarro planet, and what happens is actual Bizarro has made a bunch of copies of himself, of all the Superman family people, and they're all clones of him in a way, and it's very bizarre, and they all act silly like Bizarro. Now, Jamal Igle, like I said, he makes the weird faces. When it's Bizarro people, I think it works really well. It works really great for like this horror-y, weird vibe, and with this strange coloring of Bizarro world, it works out really nice. So Supergirl is, you know, fighting about all this stuff, and she eventually lets Bizarro Girl go and follows her back to this Bizarro dimension. And it turns out there's this world ship or something that is destroying Bizarro world. And Supergirl decides to lead all the Bizarros to fight it together. And she teams up with the Bizarros. So it's a nice little twist on everything here. And there's all these crazy Bizarro people for Bizarro world. And it turns out the weird ship is actually just a monster. And there's a lot of nice moments between Supergirl and Bizarro Girl, which are, you know, just as well crafted. I really enjoyed this whole arc here. Very nicely designed monster. Looks very freaky, like a big kaiju monster sort of thing. And they all have to like work really hard because the Bizarro power, they can freeze the bad guy. And so they saved the world together, or Bizarro world, and then went back. Great storyline. Super fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then we get into Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes. This is the annual, I believe, and it's by different artists here. And basically, Supergirl gets thrown into the Legion of Superheroes world. Now, there is a Mark Waid series called Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes which takes place in the year 3000 or something like that, in addition to this. And so I know that exists, and I know who some of these characters are a little bit. And there has been another crossover with Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes. Gosh, I think it was volume 3 or volume 2 of the deluxes here. So this all comes back and it ties in together. This is a much stiffer artist than Jamal Igle has. As you can see, it's kind of just very stiff poses all the way around here. And they Brainiac basically causes this problem with one of his experiments, and Supergirl has to help them fix it. And so they go and they fight this like demon lady. So this is, again, just a very fun, pulpy story. She's like trapped in the future. She has to fight this demon lady, and who's controlling everything. And then all of time resets, and she kisses Brainiac at the end. The coloring is just really rough on this. I don't know who did the coloring or thought this was a great idea. She looks like she's like brown gold, but she doesn't look like a human there. And then the green is so oversaturated here. It's a little rough. And I don't know if that just like makes the pencils and all that worse, but since the pencils are so stiff as it is, it really highlights the bad elements of it rather than the good. Definitely doesn't look very comic-y or real or good or anything there. Don't know what the deal is. But this is the next cover to the next Supergirl issue, which looks fantastic. So there we go. I guess that's Jamal Igle there. So, all right. And we get a story with the doll maker and the toy maker. Or the doll maker is this guy who makes like bad machines of dolls and things like that. And now Cat Grant and Supergirl are teaming up together to work on this. And again, Jamal Igle's face is just, they cause me problems sometimes. So this is neat. I just felt like they skipped over a little bit of character development, and this happens in Supergirl quite a bit, where it's just like, they're developing a little bit of a story, and they don't really just like have that thread that goes from issue to issue. There's like these like very jarring jumps to where it just doesn't flow very well. And they kind of explain like that Supergirl went to help her, but and there were some threads prior to the whole this deal that that were in there, and they get explained here, which is kind of nice. But still, it was a little bit of a jarring deal, and it turns out it's the toy maker's kid who then wants Cat Grant to be his mommy, and so he tied him up and stole some people and all that, and she is mean to this kid, let me tell you. Just zero sympathy whatsoever, which I guess I wouldn't really have much sympathy either if I was threatened and tied up, but a little jarring. And it was a fun one, and Supergirl comes in and saves the day, and they kind of repair that relationship a little bit. Now, this is the last volume of Supergirl, and it goes through issue 59, but it goes up to issue 67 in this series. So there's 2 more arcs that happen, and they're not written by Sterling Gates anymore after this. It's just a completely new creative team for the next arc. And I read them on DC Universe app, and they're both like kind of pointless arcs. That didn't really add much. They really floundered with this title all the way around. Like, you could tell, like, they just did not have it in them, DC, that is, to stick with a consistent vision, stick with a consistent creative team, and just, like, have something going. This is as close as we got with Volume 5 and Volume 4 of this, and then this trade paperback. I mean, at least we had 2.5 bigger trades worth of material that all kind of led into each other. Beyond that, it was all over the map. They'd have a new creative team every 6 months or so, it seemed like, and they just went wildly different directions every single time. So those last 2, even though they're not collected, it's not that great. This is really the best of the Supergirl. If you're looking for a Supergirl book just to read and enjoy, and you kind of know who the character is, I recommend this book, or I recommend some of the stuff from the 70s. So far, we'll be getting into the Legion of Superheroes stuff and the New 52 stuff in short order here as I go through this entire deal, and we'll do a whole summary of everything once I'm done reading it all. So that's that. Best volume so far, 8 out of 10. Enjoyable stuff. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.